Now here's the ending of the short. It's 3 minutes and it got caught up in the flow and completely disregard and the in disregard the time warning. However, this is how it continues. There was no temperature. There is no physiological indication of warfare, but there is warfare. It's at a level not perceptible by the observer, and this does not discredit the truth of the situation. And also, this is the case with man: is that he's not extra sensitive to what is going on. That there is that warfare going on at this skill, and this is how it happens. And this is how it happens. Man is a conversion. He is a conversion of this already happening chemical um, chemical meta story. Uh, um, that in the happenings that go on, that it's not against flesh and blood, but it's against principalities and powers. But these principalities and powers are so imperceptible, and they're subterranean in simply that you're hidden until they are sensitized. So there's a certain direction that is felt that it is not, obviously it is not in its case. I mean, we've gone down this line before, but it's always, if you notice a juxtaposition, or let's say a dotted parallel in explaining one side of this model, because it's both saying that man is X, man is so many for him, that man is subpar. He's also saying that this is man is subpar, and also saying that man is subpar because this is how the narrative is supposed to go on. But at the same time, go to the former, that man is subpar, and he can work on this. There's another direction to it. The more he knows, he knows. The more he realizes he knows nothing. The more he know about what is out there. The more he realizes he know things about the world. The more he is somewhat clear. The more he is more confident that he doesn't know anything about it, and that confidence of ignorance, it's is the starting point for any actual efficiency change. Okay, so now he sees this. He sees this. He knows that he is subpar, and also the story goes, man is subpar, and this is a part of his scheme. This is how the evidence shows it, that man is subpar, but he is moving towards perfection. But also in the state where when man is imperfect, he's in that moment has to be incited by events within it, such as the events that have him to self-reflect on his unsatisfying status. He can reflect on the status, and he can alter it. And these alterations are just part of the program. It's part of the it's part of what's assigned to man. It's part of what's assigned to man. It's sensitive, and it's at that basis that that the happening as it's happening at this level, at this microscopic, imperceptible level, but there's still this warfare going on, and that the flourishment that man sees wherever he is, meaning flourishment now in this least aesthetic connotation, that this flourishment is the expression of the outside, the expression of the conversion, right? So forth, so on, and all the happenings, the bombardments from the thermal ponds to the bombardments to the different ages, periods, and revolutions, and 3Ds, and just pure history going down the line. All these events are a part of his narrative proper, that and this is our resort. You can treat it in the same sense. If you're witnessing an experiment, these are results of an experiment. It tells you that if X, Y, and Z criteria are met, and then it's the reverse of entropy that is man in this exact let's call him performance probability, and this is the type of human you get, and what are the results, and you just show them pages of recorded history. And there is the part of history that is just it exists. We know it's existent, but we just don't know it. We know that you can know of something without knowing the truth of it. That man knows there exists in the world, the history of his becoming, but yet he does not have full access to it. He has it to the point where he begin to what store them. He begin to record them. When he started to record them, he can go back and analyze, and he says archive his chronicle. Then it's clear this is what's been happening. At least the evidence of the artifact that is literal, it's still it can still represent itself as an artifact, as a relic of the past. And then it shows the evolution of man when he starts to think on paper, and we can pull the words together. I mean, this is an expansion of the imagination. It allows him to do much more gymnastic tricks with it, and also to lie with it, and to manipulate with it, and to propagandize with it, and all the other things that are characteristic of the human animal. But clearly and evidently, this is not the end all be all for the way man should be. This is not the end all be all for the way that the end up be off of the way things are. Of course. But only sharing this line because it's a natural conclusion to how it started. It's imperceptible. It's happening at that level, and it's sensitized to it. It's clear that this is not a way for higher animals to to continue. It's unbecoming. It's unbecoming of humans in this way. And this is the avocation that's given. Another previous recording, there was the recollection issue, or not issue, but recollection. We spoke of recollection, of amnesia. What is forgetting? What is lost memory loss? What amnesia? What is memory loss? And it's antithesis, which is amnesis, is remembering, and from this, and then you get the synthesis of being in the present, of both not forgetting and both always remembering, or never remembering, and then never forgetting. That it's just in that walkable spatial gap between these contrasts, and then this recollection that is of man. It comes into help ameliorate the situation by the active force, and so forth and so on. So this is one sensation of being, of feeling, of existing in life world. There's this pure animal that goes on, and man is he has his calling on the frontier. He's at the precipice of it. That's why it's at the tip of the tongue of the collective unconscious, of the collective body. But it's almost pantomiming this without it being explicit and clean and evident and evident and global, universal, and publicized and normalized and activated. And then there's that, and then that's that happening. It's so think about it. It's so our dreams about it. It's so awaits. It's so awaits its in statement. It's so awaits its its way. It's a way of being ultimately. So that's too. And this is a collective style, a collective creative project of how can you make such a thing, and it's so possible. And this is what it's trying to be shared. I mean, as an average person in the world, there's you're living in a real place. You're living and doing real things. I mean, look across man. Most times, this is what happened, and before it becomes too repetitious, that it's only caring about and thinking about and working on this matter. That look upon man for good. He's granted. He's gifted. He's gifted. I mean, what is that word? It is undeserved favor. He's gifted 60 of these things. I mean, and he ought to do something with them. And when he returns with it, he shows his creator that I've done X, Y, and Z. I haven't really made anything of it. I haven't really done the. Oh, I didn't even do anything with this currency. But oh man, what a currency it is, and how it's spent. As a man is duped out of his living. He's duped out of his living. A major part of it, obviously, is the thinking and the reversal. Afterwards, there's this final state change, and this is the last thing holding men down. And this way, so titillated about his about its encroachment at the precipice is evident, uh, and because it's the last thing holding man down. After he does this, he doesn't have to do anything else like it again, because the first time he does it is the only time he needs to do it, and then afterwards, man, it's just that mode, that style, and think about it. Well, use the imagination to. Well, of course, as you always are, probably are now, and that's probably moot unnecessary that's probably an unnecessary statement. Well, however, still utilize the imagination. Utilizing the imagination, rather, is the way it should have been reformulated. It should have been formulated. That utilizing the imagination to cultivate the scenario of the Eden state. It's pleasurable. It's looking upon this bringing. Bringing the heavens down into the microcosm, in the Anthropocene, and in the vibe. You feel it in the vibe, and it's a different state when you know that you're with a pure, actualized individual versus not in a state where that subcultural population just does not. It's just not. It just doesn't meet it. It just doesn't meet it. And this is the line of thinking that's gone about. So everyone, of course, everyone has their way of looking about it. But the joyous thing about it is that on this question, they're unanimous. There's no one that opposes this proposition. At least not so far as consensus and inquiry into the matter, given the community. Given the community response is concerned. So as far as it goes, you could propose the argument to anyone if they wouldn't want to leave. If you're looking across man in his globe, you see not for perhaps for humorous purposes to say pasteurized, but he's in a pasture, he's in a corral, he's fenced, and that's how but look at the sentence how it becomes. I mean, it's just words, and then what are they worth? Nothing below grams. They're not giving any weight there. But in that place, is that he's not held there by the trees or any extraterrestrial entity. He's held there by his by other co-characters. He's allowed co-characters to create systems around him, and I believe that's how he is. He's crowded inside. He does not. He has no movability. He has no leeway. He doesn't really is using his own will. I mean, I'm invoking Rousseau and John and Locke here, and speaking of the contract and so forth, and all created equal and endowed by the creators with certain unalienable rights. Each man is the world is a stage. Each man an actor, and in their time they play many parts. I mean, just combining those two, Shakespeare and putting it down in the declaration there. In the declaration there, and seeing still this is human conjuring that he's kept in fence not by any extraterrestrial entity, but his brothers. And of course they're and this joke, it's comical, it's a grand comedy, but also when it's not so funny, that when there's Auschwitz and there's war over killing over the Fernando's departure. I mean, Ferdinand's departure. That and then man goes on with massacres, and thousands are dying for the one. They're not learning from Christ here when he says that he leaves the 99 to find the one. But that's a different case. But this is not learning from your mentor in this situation. That and he goes by these things, and for some reason he finds it okay, and this is where now it's not. This is when the state is giving sermons to other men to go out to exotic countries, as my unofficialized mentor would say, and kill the inhabitants. I mean, this is ludicrous, but it's acceptable. It's acceptable. Idiosyncratic behavior, not idiosyncratic, sorry, insane behavior is accepted or normalized. It is for behavior that should be institutionalized. It's a normalized behavior that should be institutionalized. These things are not to be the case, given who's doing the talking. And then the meme started. Recreating in the mind brings out these typographical errors, and once again, switching places on the desk, and also saying around the desk, and also saying yeah. And switching places on the desk, and also saying that yeah, this is this is not exactly, this is not a way of being fitted for the way man is, yes, granted, but also that this is, this is part of the narrative, and always uses that as a rebuttal. This is that is part of the narrative. The story ought to go this way. I mean it's all influence from the Tao to carry out characters, but on the inside, where man is carrying out characters as a personality, as an individual, he has this rationality for his behavior, but the rationality for his behavior is what's sustaining? It's a dumbing reasoning. It's it's designed for the mental satisfaction. No, the mental ease of the individual. And that's what rationality is. And of course, temporarily again, because the Tao is about to review itself, also in its same plan. And this is what happens when you can expect man to make his ascension, when he's gathering, prepping himself on for a stage transition, and you can expect these things in social in the publishment of social commentators, or whoever is trying. And well, but it's also a deep laughter. That is, it's a grand comedy that he does these things in Auschwitz and social Darwinism and eugenics and dictatorships and genocides and biological warfare. I mean, just go down the line. I'm going down to all the way to the polycrisis here, wherever a crisis in its most it can be a crisis from Pelodelic, or it could be to mass genocide, or whatever case against where you witness atrocities by man's doing. And all of these things, they're all part of the same. They have their same only singular remote reason, and that's where they all source from. The creativity comes later on. Prior is simply the motivation to, and then it's gradation, given the person, given the individual, given the agent. And it's, yes, it's still a grand laughter that behind all this is laughter, because it is a comedy, and it was made in the best interest. It was made to have a certain effect. It was made, there's a certain hunger to reality for story, and its plot, and it satisfies something with this, like emotions and cascades and heart rate increase and these kind of things, and nervousness and fear, and he's invoking some of his fiction here, because he's seen some motif like this in his theaters, that the artists also catch onto it. Where the artist goes to fishing for the creativity is also a residue, or is a pipeline that periodically mixes with the technical fluid, of truth, of abstract, abstractly materialized truth. The fluid mix it in, so the artists get some of it, even though they have a lot of fluff, but it sometimes dip in, and they can, and they bring out. I mean, not even dipping in. They also by fishing in their creativity in the arts, because the art are just very close neighbors of these. This is a family, and all. They are ways of expression. They are family expressions, and so. But of course, they have their distinctions, and the distinctions are mostly highlighted by the corpus callosum, let's say, but they do have their relation to one another. So you can find this in the motif, that this fear and nervousness of man, the feeling of the world, it stills the hunger of reality. It stills the hunger of what it is to be thrown into being, and what are you to do with it. But after the realization ensues, man starts to live far differently than he is supposed to, if he considers himself religious, atheistic, agnostic, whatever he considers himself. He simply learns how to live, and not like anything else. He just simply learns how to live. But learn how to live is just that singular thing that other things borrow from. The truth itself is much more universal. It's always universal, and the truth itself is always, because it's dealing with the from the inside out now, from the outside inside, and as also as the inside outside. Because what happens when one becomes an individual is that they're not just become, let's say, self-assured. Normally, when man starts to make improvements on his social life, he learns he should be more assertive. I know that's the first advice for the introverts, but speaking now of the outside in, inside out, that when man learns how to be an individual, is that he just connects better with the with the mass of the outside. Is he connects better with others. So by connecting better with others, that, and by you being sure, is that you're better able to play the game by flow. That the game itself has a flow to it, and you just tap into it a little easier, and you're able to tap in and tap out, not bring things to a halt or not create a scene. And then that's another way, that's a trait too. That's also a trait of the spirit. Yeah, but it offers come in during the future times, is adding to the traits of the spirit and to recreating it on the spot using the contents of contemplative imagination. And this is the imagination that's dealing with real things and practical things, not the imaginations of unicorns or creatures that exist outside the world, or any other fanatical uh, imaginary but dreamy thought, dreamy thought. Yeah. But when using the imagination for this contemplatively, is the thing that imagines before something comes out. Say, okay, what would it be if I could have a device that I could use to harness the force of water to create rotational energy? Or so something like a water wheel comes into mind. But before that, it's the imagination that does the job. But it's not the imagination that tries to that is caught in the that's caught in the dreaminess of the of the inebriated, of the intoxicated. So and then these are thoughts that do not carry uh, that same that same label. So by using imagination in this way, this contemplatively also comes to this. It also reaches this area. It also gets here where man is able to better put himself in this position to to expand the trait, to expand the litany, to expand the list. He's on the ground floor. He connects better with the outside, and in this way, he's able to both tap in and tap out, and he has this synchronization with the surrounding. And in this way, these are better fitted. He's better fitted. I mean, these are traits too, because also trying to describe the world, quench the curiosity of the curious, and then along with everything else that goes by, trying to conglomerize and be equanimical and be collaborative about about the distinctions or some of the diversities in man. Is this a way to go about this? And exactly from the direction, well, and it's clear by it's evident by the happening, and this is the disposition, and this is the way. So you see, this all started from the beginning of how you do if your shoelace were untied, and as you went down to tie your shoelace. For them, you can make the change. Then you went down to tie your shoelace. You also noticed that you had dropped your wallet, and then as doing so, you dropped your pen out of your top right breast pocket, and then your sunglasses came dropped down. Well, I'm anticipating an interaction of a co-character here, and to not deter the recording, or to terminate it in this most comfortable setting.